Welcome back, beautiful people. We're going to have, this is part two of our session with the Atlantean people. And of course, lovely Courtney Dillon, whose information will be on the screen and is down below. And my
Hi,
lovely
everyone.
son, Erik. This part one was amazing. Stop and just go look at that first. So you get
I'm excited to watch it. I was like, I
I
feel a lot
know.
of, yeah,
It's
it'll be good.
cool.
Yeah.
So we will go on with the questions. Actually, one thing
Okay.
that's announced to people is, I've been trying to figure out how to encode, like I did when I was in landing healer, crystals with Arcturian symbols, and I thought painting on, I don't know, that's not going to stamping and whatever. I went ahead and bought the bullet and ordered a laser engraver. I will never get my money back on that in a million years, but I want it to be really good, and so that's gonna.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna get. Oh, I'm so awful with technology, but hopefully I'll be able to do it without killing myself. All right, on with these questions. Did Sirians play any role in the creation of Atlantis? How it
Yes.
all began?
So there were a number of beings that we would, refer to as ETs or star beings who played pivotal roles in the creation of these early tribes. They gave lots of information to some beings we would even say are sent from the stars. Like they came here, they gave technology, they gave information, and they
DNA.
gave DNA exactly. And that a big group is from Sirius. So that's why we have so much Sirian influence. We can see all of the Sirian influence on our planet today if we look around. And the person asking this question, by the way, is Sirian. So
Cool.
yeah.
I know that Arcturians must have played a role because they're the ones that I asked, please encode this crystal because I want to help Mary over here with her diabetes or whatever.
And
So
they do it.
yeah, they helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And
You have a lot of Arcturian roots, don't you? It
I
feels
don't
like.
know. I mean, I'm
I mean,
Pleiadian mostly, I think.
yeah, but you have some Arcturian, they're saying, and
Cool.
so some of the left brain, we
Brain?
logic,
Brain.
your left brain, like some of
Brain.
your logic
Okay.
and yeah. Anyway.
Oh, okay. I believe that. And I
Mhm.
did the Star Seed quiz a couple of times. They almost always say Pleiadian, but one time they said Syrian. So that's
Mm.
part of it. Okay. So what was the initial idea when the Syrians and others created Atlantis?
The initial idea was the creation of heaven on earth, colonies that were like heaven on earth. It was meant to be a place of peace,
Yeah.
of tranquility, of love, of positivity. It was meant to be a place that was part of the galactic. Well, it has always been, but we became unaware, the Galactic Federation, and also within the Earth is a lot of information that is encoded within the Earth for other planets, and so it can be referred to as a library, a galactic library of sorts. And when there's lots of reasons for Earth itself. Earth is a living being,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
yeah, that was the
Okay, so
original plan.
we talked about the color of their skin. What about their body habitus? I get the idea that they were kind of long, lanky, and
Thin, like
right,
thin
right.
build. Yes, it feels like there's like pretty tall and thin in general. But again, what they're showing me is not everybody has the same skin tone,
Oh yeah.
or yeah,
The
something like
reason I
that.
asked this, and I think I know who might have asked this, were there humans that had hyper mobility, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? Hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, basically really super flexible joints.
Yeah, it looks like yes is the answer to that question. So the person who asked that question, I think, has this, and so
Was there a
he or
medical
she is.
treatment? Did they have a medical treatment for it back in the Atlantean days?
Yes, it looks like there was treatment, but it wasn't as much of a problem. Now we would see, because our bodies are more physically dense,
Yeah.
In a way, there's more density to our physicality now, that it would feel like it's more of an issue.
Yeah.
Whereas before there were lots of treatment options for different ailments, but there wasn't as much disease or sickness in the way that we experience it now on the
There's
planet.
less physicality to the body.
Correct.
Was Atlantis one particular place on Earth, or were there several locations around the planet?
Well, it looks like there's a span, but it does actually, there was a physical place on the planet
Was
where
it in the
Atlantis.
Atlantic Ocean? Sort of spanning where the US.
Yes, that's what it looks like to me.
Atlantis.
But also you have to remember that with any physical place, there's an energetic component. So now you can, this is sort of like an assignment Erik is writing out, that you could, if you wanted to, connect with Atlantis. Okay. Connect with the energy of Atlantis. That will give you strength and energy and, information about yourself, your origin, who you are, why you're here. All of us listening to this, everybody listening to this is here for a reason. Yeah. Every single person, even if you're saying, oh, well, I don't know my purpose. I'm just a whatever, I don't have some important job. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We can offer our energy, even if you're, cleaning somebody's house or driving a taxi cab or whatever it is. We can be healers on the planet. And that's what we're here to do.
That's great. I know kids started okay, we did that already. Were the Anunnaki still on Earth during the Atlantean civilization? And if so, what role or interaction did they have with the people of Atlantis? Did we answer that?
I think we did. Yes, the answer. It looks like it depends which Anunnakis you're talking about it, because it does look like there were good Anunnaki, what we would describe as
Enlil's group, and
the
nice half brother.
But if you're asking about the negative faction, the purpose is to control, to manipulate, and to basically enslave. So to enslave in order that we would work for them. Now, some people listening to this may find this very far-fetched and like crazy information, but if you start looking into this, you'll begin to make sense of.
You should look at on the Gaia channel. You should just look at all the evidence. It's amazing. I mean, archaeological evidence, scribes, scrolls, etc. That pictures and all that kind of stuff. And it's so interesting how a lot of them are carrying this purse. We talked about that in well, I don't know if it's up yet, but we channeled the Sumerians. Anyway, Bashar, Daryl Anka, Bashar maybe something different, once said that Atlantis was destroyed by asteroid fragments over time, and that Halloween and the remembrance of the day before Atlantis was the remembrance of the day before Atlantis met its complete demise. Is that true?
I saw an explosion when somebody else asked that question in the last interview. That's not to say that there weren't
meteors. You're right.
Meteors or asteroid influence. Yeah, it looks like there were, but what I saw was an explosion when we asked that question.
Yeah. Okay. Was the firestone or crystal their source of power? I don't know what a firestone is.
I don't either, but let me ask.
Okay.
So there's a giant crystal that they're showing me that is like the mother crystal, and this may be what the person is asking, the firestone.
Okay.
And there is like, it's almost like this, it's almost like the size of a room. I mean, it's huge. Wow. This giant crystal. And that was a place for a source, rather, for information gathering, healing, like conferring, because crystals are living. And Tesla, who's popping in because you've talked about him, I think. Tesla reminds us also that the crystals are living.
Yeah.
The crystals are living, that crystals we have around us, we can remember that they're living beings and they can assist us with all kinds of things, get to know their history. So that's what he says.
That's interesting.
He's very happy also that you're doing the 369 and teaching people this.
Oh, goody. Okay. Well, you're so brilliant. And thank you for being part of the divine team, by the way. We're trying to erase your karmic debt from the times of Atlantis. Okay.
He says he's working on it.
I probably have a lot too. How do they power their airships around the world? I don't know what that really means. If they're like ET, like.
There's lots of technologies that did not require fuel. It looks like that they can power, flying ships and things like that through solar, through the sun. They knew how to harvest technologies.
And 0 point energy, right?
Exactly. 0 point. Exactly. So it just feels to me like the use of fossil fuels was non-existent.
Yeah.
We were not stripping the planet in any way, and we knew how to use what we have around us, all the gifts of the earth to
scale of energy. I mean, you powered Tesla, you powered all of Colorado Springs. You could have done that indefinitely if the fossil fuel people like JP Morgan didn't come in and shut you down and rip up your lab. So did the stone spheres, I've seen that before, of Costa Rica play into the Atlantean story or migration at all?
Okay, sorry, can you repeat the first part?
Yeah, did the stone spheres of Costa Rica play into the Atlantean story at all?
Yeah, there is a connection between the stone spheres and Atlantis. So there's various points on the planet, and the stone spheres, it looks like, have encoded information within them that is connected to Atlantis. So if you
the skulls, right?
Correct, yeah. There are places on the planet, like such as the Sphinx that we're describing, which contains in the etheric way, in the etheric form, the Hall of Amenti. And you could go in there and learn and get lots of information. But you also, depending where you're on location, meaning where you're kind of assigned on the planet, and many of us are being called to different locations. So if you have to move suddenly, there's a reason for it. I've found myself moving this year. But the point is, going back to this person's question, that if they are close to that place in Costa Rica, they can go and learn to work with this area and read this information.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Hey, you missed an earthquake the other day, I hear.
I did?
4.7 something. All right, it is said that Atlantis broke apart in 3 stages over time. Is that true? Or did it stay together and sink?
It was, there were stages, but the fall was when everything kind of, sunk all at once. So,
okay. What kind of sciences or genetic research of interest? Maybe name 1 or 2 things. What's going on in the days of Atlantis?
Scientists now or scientists then? Sorry, I'm confused.
Science, I guess, what was going on at the time of Atlantis? Anything
so a lot of the technologies that we're seeing now as new technologies, such as AI and like AI actually in particular, we used in Atlantis, but misused, right? Misused. And so what we're seeing as new, and there's going to be even more advanced technologies in the coming years, we have an opportunity to either let this technology kind of take over and enslave us even more, or we can wake up and use it properly. So we have the choice.
Any genetic research? I know that energy.
Cloning, gene
splicing
therapy,
genetic splicing, where you can
gene therapy, gene splicing, and unfortunately genetic manipulation. So yeah. So
do they use stem cells or anything like that? Stem cell research?
It does feel like, yes, they did.
Interesting.
Yes. Mhm.
Where did the survivors of Atlantis and Lemura go after their land sunk? We know of Egypt, but any place else? Well, the
It
Hollow,
went all over the world.
all in
And so all over the world, it was like almost like
Mayan
they took
region. Yeah.
exactly threads were sent out to like ribbons. It looks like these different, you know, one of those maypoles. Have
Oh,
you know,
yeah, right.
right? That's what I see. It's like this maypole with all these different ribbons. Now that feels like a symbol to me, but it's like these different threads went to all different regions of the world. That's why we don't just say, oh, there's just this, there's a mystery school in this place, but not that place.
Oh,
And that's why we can find connections in all of these different mystery schools, because a lot of it is coming from this origin point.
interesting. I don't know how anybody could find the maypole thing entertaining. I swear. God.
I don't, yeah, I never even, I remember I did that as a kid, like in kindergarten. So it was a funny
Cannonball,
image to
maybe,
come up.
but
Yeah.
can we find any remnants of both lands with modern day electronic equipment like Google Maps? I know I've seen some photos that are of interest that seem like they could have been a lost civilization.
There will be people who uncover more evidence and information in the coming years. These people who are onto it will figure out how to do it with Google Maps.
Okay.
Some of the children being born, it's almost like encoded in their DNA
Wow,
to discover this information.
very nice. What and why was there need for conquering others? Did they conquer others, tribes, or each other? Or?
Yeah, there was a lot of infighting. So yes, in fact, there were tribes, and the tribes began to have disagreements. The ego, people's or beings and their egos got very involved. There was, you know, everybody wanted power, just the kind of what we're seeing playing out now. I mean, it's not a whole lot different. Mhm.
Were they influenced by negative energies or negative entities, anything like that, that made them do the evil switch?
Negative energies, yes, because they were influenced by, like, greed somehow grows. Like, I don't know what this means exactly, but greed grows. So the energy of greed can grow within one being or person, and it kind of it was like wildfire. It just caught on. Yeah. And hungry for power, hungry for control. All of these things were in balance, suddenly became out of balance. We misuse and abuse technologies. Exactly.
They were also influenced by Anunnaki too, as we said before. I don't know if this part or the last part. Was it true that the Greeks defeated the Atlanteans when they tried to invade Greece?
No, that doesn't feel accurate. Yeah, no.
Have humans ever lived underwater, especially during Atlantis?
There are beings that are human-esque or oid that who can and do live underwater. They generally remain hidden right now.
They're extraterrestrial, if I understand it.
Yes,
in the
there
ocean.
are, in fact, yes.
That jellyfish one that was photographed and was plunged into the ocean. That was one. It's like a weird looking spaceship. Is it true that if the lines on the palm of your hand meet and make an M, that means you had a life in Atlantis? Mine does.
I don't know. Let me see if mine does. Let me see the answer.
Oh my God.
No, that's not necessarily true, but that person asking the question does in fact have that and a life in Atlantis. So,
okay, but it's a coincidence.
yeah.
How can we unlock or use our talents and abilities from our lifetimes in Atlantis? I'm doing that now, people. I put Atlantean healing power into the scalar
You
field.
can call back your gifts. Call back your gifts. Because we are not constricted by time. You know, we need to live in this body, in this time. We're meant to do that and learn lessons in this time. But we also can call back our gifts from other time periods.
Okay.
Right? You know, you want to be specific and call gifts and only your gifts. I mean, you don't want to call back your gambling addiction from the, 17th century or something like that. So,
Is Trump, Biden, or Kamala, did they have lives in Atlantis at all? Either of those three?
yes, is the answer. Trump specifically.
Was he Inky or Onlil tribe?
Um, on low.
Onlil, that's the bad ones. So he's bad. He's a bad.
No, I'm sorry. They're showing me it's the positive ones.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Um, apparently they had mind light generators to create power. That sounds like scalar energy because scalar energy is thought too. Our
Mhm.
thoughts are scalar energy. Were they able to generate power with their minds? With the mind light generator, they called it?
Yes, and they could do that in ancient Egypt too. So
Oh,
this
really?
technology, this technology is going to come back. We are going to really understand and utilize the power of our mind. We're beginning to do that now.
Okay.
But the answer is yes. I mean, they could do a lot of work with the mind.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of the information that came from this time period also kind of went to Egypt for some reason. And there
Okay.
was a lot of the use of that technology there.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to have a whole thing on Agartha, the subterranean
Hmm.
civilization. That's going to be
Sounds
fun.
exciting. Hmm.
Okay, so apparently the bad Anunnaki draped an electromagnetic net around the world for mind control 100,000 years ago, and they've
Hmm.
removed light codes and they'd had something to
The
do with
net is now
right?
gone, is what I'm
Oh,
hearing.
okay.
Hmm.
And what
But
about
that's
junk
true.
DNA? Did they put that in or did they disable it?
They disabled it.
Oh,
So
boy.
it's not junk DNA that they put in, but what they did was they disabled like a few different strands, like 4 different strands of our DNA. And this now is beginning to come online. It's not going to be all at once, but it will. Those strands connect us with our multi-dimension, like our multi-dimensional
Okay.
aspects.
Hmm.
They connect us with our psychic abilities in a different way. And we can begin to access this. You can ask for these DNA strands to come back online.
Okay, what happened to me in the deluge, in the sinking? Did I die in the flood or did I go subterranean or?
You died, it looks like, but
Okay.
you decided that you encoded within you was the memory that you would come back
Oh,
now
good.
and do exactly what you're doing.
Okay, that is awesome. 13, okay. Got that one. I'm almost finished. Now, is it true about the planet of Nibiru that when Sirian A and B, I can't remember, two of them, one just became a supernova. I can't remember. But then the planet of Nibiru was cast out like a slingshot, lost in space. This big cycle where it comes every 3,600 or whatever years into our solar system, and it tries to gain power from humans, from Mother Earth, etc. Is there any truth to that?
Yes, and it would be, he's saying this is too much to cover, it's in depth, but
Yeah,
the answer is yes, but it would be good
yeah,
to do a whole session
yes.
on the planet. You could do a whole session on that.
Okay, let's see. Got that one. Who was it? Who in our family, if any, my family were keepers of the crystals?
You were a healer, but
Yeah,
it looks like you were kept them, you had a lot of them around you.
yeah. I do now too.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's a personal thing. It's not important to people to hear that.
Okay.
So never mind. Okay. Um, okay, let me see. There's one more that can't find. Oh, this is not on here. That's why. My older sister Terry, her and I just love dolphins. That's our favorite animal. She does not feel a connection to Atlantis, but I'm wondering, it was she during the time of Atlantis with me or not?
She was with you, yes, but it feels to me like the dolphin connection is somehow connected to Lemuria for her.
Okay.
That's where that comes from, and she feels very like drawn to the dolphin collective. Um, and the pink, specifically pink dolphins.
No.
So I don't know what that has to do with anything, but if she is that feels like something or resonant for her in
Okay.
her Akash.
So we weren't in Atlantis together.
It does look like she was in Atlantis at one point, but
Okay.
but
Mostly Lemuria.
but yeah, it's feeling like the dolphin connection is actually more Lemurian for her.
All right. Well, that's it, people. Thank you for
Thank
listening.
you.
This is amazing. Oh, mind blown. These two sessions that we've had, these part 1 and part
Fun. It was a lot of fun. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank
having
you,
me.
Eric. Also, my love and
Oh,
thank
he
you,
says he loves you.
spokespeople. And thank you, of course, Courtney. Check her out. I mean, come on, really, seriously. Y'all hit the like button and subscribe, please, for Mama
All
Elisa.
right. Thank you. All
I
right.
love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.